Well, Steve, once again, welcome. Tell us about Sleep in Heavenly Peace.
Okay. Well, Sleep in Heavenly Peace, we're a national nonprofit um, based out of Twin Falls, Idaho. Um, and our mission statement is simple: no kids sleep on the floor in our town. Um, we believe that, you know, we want to make sure that everybody's town is our town. And we try to get, it's all about community with Sleep in Heavenly Peace. So it's about getting volunteers together to build beds for kids that sleep on the floor or have inadequate sleeping conditions. So we do that on build days, a couple different ways, but we'll get into that as we go down. But it's really the awesome part about it, and it's so unique, is it's really neighbor helping neighbor, community helping community, giving right back to their community, which is what I fell in love with it since we started the Utica chapter. But it started out in 2012. Luke Mickelson in Twin Falls, Idaho, had some lumber laying around his house, and he decided to build a bed. And he put it on Facebook to see who in his community needed a bed at Christmas time. It was a way for him to show his kids, to give back a little bit to their community. And lo and behold, he started getting inundated with requests. And Twin Falls, Idaho is a town smaller than our area. So he was very surprised as to the need out there. This was his first delivery back at Christmas time in 2012, and really it was just a little project that he had that ended up turning into a full-time not-for-profit called Sleep in Heavenly Peace. And he named it Sleep in Heavenly Peace because of the time of the year, at Christmas time and stuff. So Luke Mickelson is still our executive director, and doing this full time for us. So we've since 2012 nationwide have built over 100,000 beds. And you can see here it really started taking off in 2018. You can see just before that, there was just a handful of chapters. I got to minimize the gallery here. In 2018, there was a Mike Rowe who used to do the show, I think it was Dirty Jobs. He had a podcast called Returning the Favor, and he featured Luke Mickelson on his show, where he actually built a new shop for Sleep in Heavenly Peace in Idaho, because he was still working out of his garage. So many people saw that, and 125 new chapters were born that year, which is really the beginning of where Sleep in Heavenly Peace started taking off nationally, just because of that one podcast. As you can tell, in 2020 was COVID, so our numbers were down quite a bit because they essentially shut down for 6 months. But since then, we steadily are putting on new chapters, 40 to 50 new chapters a year. 2021 is when Utica was born, so we're part of the 40 new chapters there. And this year, our goal is to deliver over 50,000 beds nationally. Our goal in Utica is we'll probably approach 1,000 beds this year just in the Utica chapter. There's no national study on child bedlessness. As Luke likes to say, bedlessness is not even a word, but it's a real world problem. Based upon Sleep in Heavenly Pieces, because there's so many chapters across the country now, we feel 3 to 5% of the population in any given area has kids without a bed. So basically, if you take the poverty level in your area, our area, that would mean a need in just Oneida County and Lower Herkimer County of 8,000 to 9,000 beds, if those numbers are correct. So even if you do the 3%, we're still looking at 6,000 or 7,000 beds that we would need to meet that demand. So it is a problem. When we started the Utica chapter, we thought it was kind of a little family project. I saw Sleep in Heavenly Peace, and learned about it and started the Utica chapter. And I thought it was going to be a little family project. If we did 10, 15 beds a month, we'd be doing good. Well, That was like the first month we did that. After that, we haven't looked back. We're A+ rated with GuideStar, which rates nonprofits. Basically, all the money raised here stays here. There is a small administrative fee because they cover our insurances. We do have like 5 people on staff. One is which is a grant writer, which writes grants for us, which gives us support. But basically, 90% of what's raised here stays here. 10% does go to administrative, but Sleep in Heavenly Peace keeps it very, very. Like I said, there's 8 people total on payroll for the whole company. And that's a lot of support for the chapter. So I don't have to worry about tax returns. And you guys, as you guys know, the business of running nonprofits, that's all done with the national company. So that's basically where that 10% goes. Just giving you a little transparency on that, But and which is for a lot of national nonprofits. Sometimes it's 35% that they'll take for administrative. So there's no experience required. It's kind of cool because we build the beds from scratch. And it's a good team building exercise for companies that sponsor. So we have community builds where basically we buy the lumber and the community comes and builds the beds, but we also have companies that come in and sponsor builds and they supply the volunteers. So it's about team building, and it's about, there's a lot of people that come to these builds that have never touched a drill, never touched a saw, never touched a sander. And, there's kids that are learning how to kind of use tools that they've never touched, and as well as parents that are learning new skills, and everybody has fun. We have a build in about 2.5 or 3 hours, and everybody gets dirty and dusty, and they all leave with a smile knowing they did something good. And after we build in about a 2.5 or 3 hour time frame, we build about 20 to 30 beds in that time frame. So it's a whole assembly line process, which there'll be a video that kind of shows. Here's some pictures of those first couple beds that he's built, and it's all about volunteers. It's all about getting the community involved, and I think that's really what struck a chord locally with us, is the volunteers have just been so passionate about helping out. We have a build coming up this Saturday. We put the sign up last week out. In 2 hours, 45 slots filled up. So it's a hard ticket to get. And if anybody wants to notify when the next build's coming, we can add you. Larry, if you can get people's emails, we can add you to our email list. And then when you see it, you just got to act fast, unfortunately. It's a good problem to have. There's some chapters that can't find volunteers. We've never had that problem locally. People have been very passionate about coming and helping out and just love doing what they're doing. We could have a build every week if we had time to do it. But we basically have 2 builds a month, and then we deliver twice a month. So on the off weeks that we're not building, we're delivering. To request a free bunk bed, basically you got to live in an area that we service. Right now for us, it's lower Herkimer County and Oneida County, which is a pretty big area. So, we basically cover from Camden to Little Falls, Boonville to Bridgewater, and every place in between. People have been asking about Northern Herkimer County and stuff. It's just, we would need to get volunteers that could help. I see in the future, maybe if somebody wanted to start a chapter in Herkimer County, we could probably split Herkimer County off from Oneida County, and it might service that area a little better. So it just, if anybody knows anybody that might want to do that, it's a great project to be involved with. There's a lot of support. It's just that we're covering such a wide area. We kind of had to draw the line somewhere. And that's, where it ended up being. But the people requesting the bed must have an accessible house or apartment. So they need to have space big enough to fit a twin size bed. We have to contact them via email through our new software that everybody needs to have an email, or at least a foster care worker or social worker that we can get in touch with. There's an online application you can fill out at shpbeds.org, and you go to request a bed. Child's needs to be between the ages of 3 and 17 years old, so it's a wide range. The reason it starts at 3 is because under 3, they should be in a toddler bed. And I think it comes down to a liability thing. If a kid's in a bed with sheets and he should be in a toddler bed, I think it's just a liability thing there. So it starts at 3 to 17 years old. And the parents just need to be home be on site for the delivery. The qualifications is simple, basically. We don't verify any income or anything like that. It's you just have to fill out the online application, and we just verify the sleeping arrangements. We call, we ask 4 or 5 questions. It's on the honor system, so it's not, probably 85% of the requests that come in get granted. And the only ones that don't get granted are sometimes people move, or we find out they do have beds, but they just wanted new ones. So, but basically 85 to 90% of the applications get approved. Unfortunately, right now, because the requests have come in, like just yesterday alone, we got requests for 25 beds. We always have a waiting list of 200 beds. Like we just can't build them fast enough. We build them at a build, and then they go out the next week on deliveries, and then we build again and they go back out. So it's just a constant, applications are coming in numerous times throughout the day. So it's just, they come in every day, and it's just, unfortunately, there's about a 2-month waiting list right now. I'm kind of sad that we have a vetting committee that calls. We have 2 or 3 volunteers that call and verifies the informations, and then we base a decision on that. Like I say, 90% of the people that get picked or that fill applications do get a bed. But unfortunately, we can't guarantee one for every application. It's just certain situations aren't as dire as others. So we kind of have a pecking order, I guess you could say. Here's our 2022 national stats. Beds built, beds delivered, how many volunteers. There's 326 chapters now across the United States, Canada, and the Bahamas. I'm still waiting to get called to the Bahama bed builds, but it hasn't happened yet. Each bed is worth $250 because we buy the lumber, we buy everything that goes with it. So you can do the math. There's a lot of money going back in these communities with these beds. Here's our SHP Utica stats since we've been a chapter. As of yesterday, we've delivered 880 beds total. We've already delivered in January of this year already 80 beds, which for this time of year is a pretty strong number. We did 675 total last year, and 2021 was small because we just our chapter was born on August 22nd, 2021. Our first delivery was September 1st, 2021. So we've delivered 880 beds to 2-county area since we've been a chapter, which is almost $200,000 that we've raised to be able to give back to it. And that's what's cool. We can only do what the community gives us. Obviously, we make it on donations, donations of money and donations of bedding. We've never bought any bedding since we've been a chapter. We put on Facebook, this is what we need, or we go on the radio. WKTV, WIBX, Bill Keeler in the morning has been very generous with us and allowing us, following a lot of our stories, and we've kind of gotten a good following from them. And like I say, we have I say we need, comforters for teen boys, and all of a sudden in the next week, we have 50, 60 sets that people donated. So that allows us we haven't had to buy bedding or pillows, and it allows us to put more money back into buying lumber to build more beds. These are all the communities as of the end of 2022 that we've served and the numbers. We've kind of grouped the valley in. So, Utica obviously is our biggest need, followed by Rome, and then the valley follows behind there, and then just a little bit out in the outskirts all around. These are what our beds look like. On the left is a bunk bed. On the right, we call that a teen bed, but they're twin size beds. And then there's also a third one, which is like the teen bed, but it sits lower to the ground for the younger kids. So we call these teen beds right here. So like someone that's 11 years old and up, they're not as low to the ground. These are the coverage area, which I already touched. These are some pictures from actual deliveries. And to me, this is what makes it all worthwhile, is just seeing the smiles on these kids' faces that have never had a bed or didn't have a bed, or they had an inadequate bed. That a lot of people sleep on air mattresses, and I don't know about you, every air mattress I ever owned, no matter how good of a one or how cheap of a one it is, by the time the morning comes, it's always flat. So it's life-changing for these kids. We always try to engage the kids to help us put the beds together, like this girl right here. And then they feel like they built something. It's something of their own that they didn't have, a little piece of security. Actually, I'll read put my glasses on. I'll read a text that we got from a family that we delivered to this past weekend, and kind of puts things in perspective. Hang on one second. He sent us a message. I just want to say thank you for the beautiful bed my son received from our organization. The man that came was so nice, and they did such a great job. Words can't express how grateful I am for the generosity and hard work you guys do at Sleep in Heavenly Peace. You literally helped me make my house a real home for my son, and for that, I'm forever grateful. God bless, and thank you again. So I cry every time I read stuff like that. I'm sorry, but that's why we're doing it, because it's trying to give these people help when they need it. And these kids are in bad situations of no fault of their own, and sometimes no fault of their parents either. So I have a quick 4-minute video here that kind of sums up everything we do. And this was put together by Paul Buckley and the mayor's office for the city limits episodes. Can everybody hear that?
We provide beds for kids that sleep on the floor or do not have adequate sleeping arrangements. And since we started in September 2021, we have delivered 800 beds to our community, which is Utica, New York, and the surrounding communities in Oneida County and Lower Hudson County. Out of the 800 beds that we've delivered since September 2021, 500 of those have gone to Utica, New York, helping our community give to the families that are really in need of having adequate sleeping. In the whole year of 2022, we've had a waiting list of over 200 kids. Applications come in every day. We're trying to build the beds as fast as we can. We basically have a build date and they go out the door the next Saturday on delivery. So we have a bunch of dedicated volunteers that come in here time and time again. We move into our new spacious shop inside Mida Tiffany. We can have 50, 60 volunteers in here building beds, and we put a sign of genius out for a bed build, and the slots get filled instantly. We have a wonderful community that comes in here, helps us build these beds, and we give them right back out in our community.
I am a natural volunteer, and the pandemic had really put a hold on that. One of our neighbors began volunteering right when this chapter opened and had mentioned it over and over again to my husband and I. And early this spring, we made our first delivery, and just about every other week, if not once a month, Mike, my husband, and I have been delivering and building beds.
This time of year during the holidays is especially meaningful to me, at least. I was really very fortunate to have a bed growing up. My father was a builder and actually built my first bed. And, that's a beautiful thing. So to be able to share that with other folks who might not be in the same fortunate position that I was is a blessing for me. I'm actually a contractor, so for us to be able to help out is kind of nice. take a day off and to do something for the community makes me feel like the luckiest guy around for sure.
I met with Steve, gave us a little rundown on what goes on, and was never aware of just how severe the problem with bedding is for children in the city. As of today, we will be delivering over 800 beds with a minimum of 100 on a waiting list. The problem is, never knew it existed to the depth that it does. Just seeing these little kids, the smiles on their faces when they get to come off the blankets on the floor into nicely, safely constructed beds is all the gratification one could ask for. Today is the first day my daughter and her partner have joined us. Just talking to my youngest today, I guess she's going to start doing builds. It's kind of a experience that once you do it, it catches you and you want to continue and you really get involved. And it's all volunteer. Any way you can help, it's the kids that will appreciate it.
Thank you for my new bed. I love it and I'm staying in there forever.
The thought of children sleeping on the floor just was something we couldn't comprehend. And yet hearing the stories and how this happens over and over again, I don't like that it's happening, but it is. It's so real, and that's what makes this organization so important. It's great to come into neighborhoods we may not ordinarily come into and just get to know our different community members. And today was just so amazing. Two of the folks receiving beds actually helped us carry mattresses up the stairs, and they're just so excited. And today is a special day because of that.
We've got a lovely group of folks here today. I'm here with, I guess I could say family. And Butler Gang's been at this for a while, and they're big proponents of volunteer work in the community. This is the only organization that they're involved with. So I feel lucky to be part of it. The holidays to me have always been about the kids. So to see smiles on the kids' faces is the best part of it all. I mean, I'd do it every weekend if I could. So it's a beautiful thing.
We got a new bunk bed. I'm on the bottom, she's on the top. Then
Sleep in Heavenly Peace Utica is fortunate. We have a dedicated group of volunteers that come in here day in and day out, week in, week out, build days, delivery days, and they give back to us. We can't do it without our volunteers. So I'd like to thank all of our volunteers that come in and give so much to our chapter that has made it so successful where it is today.
It's a massive overstock sale. Get out of here. That's basically it. You know, we're doing it for the kids, and our community has been very generous with us, and they've, you know, we're a fairly young chapter, but we've accomplished a lot. And you know, you just tell the story. You know, I know Nancy was on a delivery on Saturday. I don't, if you can speak to how your deliveries were. I mean, it really, to me, that's the best part, is just seeing the kids and how happy they are.
Yeah, that was my first time, and we were supposed to go to 3 different locations, but one of them was not there. They said they had a family emergency, so they were not available. But the first one we went to, and it made me think maybe this was the mom that wrote your note, but cute little boy. He was playing, as you can imagine, Xbox or whatever. And we got there and the mother said, "Now, I told you when they come with your bed, you've got to stop playing." And he continued for another minute or two, never argued with his mother, but I think he finished his game or whatever. And then he got off that, and we put the bed in. She was very curious where we came from, that we were there to help them. And she was so thankful, so thankful. And then we went to the other property, and it was a home that I was a little concerned, but it's really none of my business in a way. The kids were sleeping in the basement, so that bothered me a little bit, but that happens everywhere. So 3 little children, and they were Ukrainian. The family was Ukrainian, and the mom had the phone. She spoke very, if no English at all. So she spoke into her phone. It translated it to us. We spoke in her phone, translated back to her. So we were easily able to communicate. And again, she was so grateful. The bedding is adorable that we put on the beds. I was amazed how quick it was. You are so organized. This organization is so organized. You know, I had my pickup truck. We put the bedding in the back, delivered it, and it's just, I don't think it takes 15 minutes to create, you know, to assemble the bed and have it made for the child, and off we go to the next place. So it was a very short amount of time, really, that I was down there. It took me from Old Forge, it's an hour to get there. And I think my total commute time was as much or a little more than what the installation time was. So, and that was in Schuyler that we went. And I think that there's certain areas there that look like maybe we'll go there again. So,
Yeah.
but it was really meaningful, and that's why I was excited to become involved. Yeah.
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 You know, and that's really what, you know, that's what we're about. We try to get as many volunteers involved as we can. And you know, I speak to whoever I can and just tell the story and get more volunteers that's where we're at now. We got so many people that just can't wait for the next build and get involved. So I don't know if anybody has any questions for me.
I'm just, the photos that you have of the children, is that part of your form when they request a bed, or do you ask them specifically if that would be acceptable to them?
They actually sign off on the indemnification, allowing us to share those photos. So if they put no, then we don't take any photos of the kids.
Perfect.
We like to take photos of the beds and stuff too, even if the kids aren't involved, because so many people donate that bedding and those pillows, and they'll see, well, that's the bedding I bought, and they see that we're using it, and it creates more donations from it. So we're not trying to expose any kids on it. It's good to see that everybody that donates to us, that their donations are being put to good use. You know, and
Definitely.
then
Yeah.
everybody, you know, the kids just, it tugs at people's hearts, and they love to see, and they, you know, there's such a need. We never knew the need was what it is. And it's crazy. So we do have a big build coming up in the beginning of May, the first weekend in May. We had a mega build last year. We're in Sangertown Square. We built 276 beds in one weekend, because basically we can't build them fast enough. We could have a build every week and we still don't have enough beds for our waiting list. So we're having a mega build too. We're going to try to build this year 350 beds in one weekend. And it's all, you know, we get companies that sponsor it to pay for that. So it's a good way to get donations from companies that may not donate otherwise. And so that's gonna be the first weekend in May. It'd be May, I think, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. So our goal, we're hopefully silently, we're hoping to build 400, but our official total is gonna be like 350 is what we're gonna shoot for. But we'll probably have enough lumber for over 400. So we'll build as much as we can, because with over 200 on a waiting list, half of those are already be spoken for. You know, so. And it's a good chance if you want to, you know, get in, because that's a chance for us to get 400 or 500 volunteers through in one weekend as well, and expose a lot of people to what we are. So,
Steve, can you say a little something about the mattresses and the bedding, where that comes from? Can people participate by sponsoring mattresses, bedding, etc.?
Yep. So basically, the mattresses are cheaper if I buy them right from our corporate. It's like $150 mattress, but I buy them for $65. But bedding, twin size bedding, and especially like right now, we have a special need for like teenage boys and girls stuff. comforters. We have a bunch of sheet sets, but we're looking for comforters to match up with them. Because right now we have like 340 3-piece sheet sets. Or sometimes you see like Kohl's might have a 5-piece bed in a bag. Those work out very well. We do have a couple drop-off locations. One in New Hartford at Utica Gas and Electric Federal Credit Union. One in Whitesboro, First Choice Staffing in Colonial Plaza, Whitesboro. I think coming up, starting sometime in March, I think all the GPO Federal Credit Union locations are going to be adding drop-off locations. They're not there yet, but I think that's coming down the pike. Yeah, or we have an Amazon wish list I can send you, Larry, where it ships right to my office. So, yeah, bedding is we've never bought bedding, and it's like I said, it allows us to put more of our donations strictly to buying lumber and to build more beds. And there's some chapters that buy their own bedding, but we've never had to do that around here. Because people, like I say, I just, talk to your groups and we get more bedding. We have our bedding room is full, but when we're doing 80 or 100 beds a month, that goes down fairly quickly. So, we're always asking for that, and it's an easy way for people to get involved. I know there's a bunch of, there's a church in Rome that did a bedding drive. So, I mean, if you want to do it within your church, my mother goes around picking them up. So you could, do a bedding drive within your, with your parishioners, and we can come and pick them up when you're done. Gives my mother and stepfather a reason to get out of the house and go do something.
Steve, thank you so much. This is a great story and a great ministry that you're doing in the community. We really appreciate you sharing the story with us.
Yeah, there's a lot of different situations that people find, we help out a lot of people after fires, floods, people, domestic violence that they have to get out and they leave everything behind. So, a lot of different situations that we're trying to give people a helping hand and hopefully get them back on their feet. And like I say, those situations are no fault of the kids. They don't choose those situations, and trying to show the kids there's good people out there still.
Wow. Excellent. Well, send me the link to the Amazon wish list, and
Okay.
I'm sure we get that out to everybody.
Okay. Sounds good.
So let's end with a blessing, friends. This is a poem by Anne Hillman, and it seems rather fitting for what we've talked about today. We look with uncertainty beyond the old choices for clear-cut answers to a softer, more permeable aliveness, which is every moment at the brink of death. For something new is being born in us, if we but let it. We stand at a new doorway, awaiting that which comes, daring to be human creatures, vulnerable to the beauty of existence, and learning to love. Thank you, friends. The Lord be with you.
You too.
With you.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Thank you.
Bye.